and that is the worst British accent I've ever heard. It's like a cross of Gordon Ramsay and a squirrel.
Who goes there?
Oh, it's you. Come on in. Welcome to the Scumm Bar.
Welcome to the Scumm Bar Podcast, where we talk movies, video games, pop culture, Pikachu, and everything in between. I am your host. I'm your host. Get away. I'm your host. What's my name? Mattbrush. And with me today is this guy.
That guy.
He's that guy.
He's that guy. Anth0z.
Hello, Anth0z. How are you doing today?
I am doing...
That's good. I'm glad. That's really good, actually.
How are you doing? Are you doing?
I am as well. I am also doing.
Cool.
Anth0z, are you doing so well you'd like to hear a joke?
Usually.
Good. I'm glad. So here we go. Here's my joke. Are you ready? Are you sure?
Are you
positive?
ready? Yeah, okay.
Are you ready for a pirate joke?
I am ready.
Which side of the boat does a good pirate try to avoid?
The underside?
Not far off. The outside!
Okay, that was... see, that's my thinking. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to go outside of the boat, and I can't think simple enough to think the word outside. I have to go further.
You're so close to getting these. One of these days, you're going to get it. You're going to tell it right back to me, and I'm going to go, whoa! I wasn't expecting it. Anth0z, what's our next topic? Why don't you let me know?
So our first topic of the day...
Oh, no, not topics. Sorry, next section, I mean.
Oh, okay.
My bad. I set you up wrong there. What's our first section?
Well, our first section... our next thing that we're going to talk about...
That's the
is
thing.
ye old news.
Ye old news. All right. Slap some news on me. What do you got?
Slap some news. Okay, so like one of the only things that I could think of was, and like this is kind of late too because I've kind of, this is personal news. I pretty much stopped playing Pokemon Go. Like
Whoa.
it was just
Whoa.
because like I was
okay?
You know,
What's
I'm better
going on?
now. I feel more at ease. There's a big weight that's been lifted off my
Good.
belt. Like I don't have
What
to
made
carry
you stop?
my Pokeballs anymore. Why?
Well, what made you stop?
Well, it's actually I ran out of data for the month, and so
Oh.
and the thing is, not because of playing Pokemon Go, but just for other things. And normally when I play, like I've been more of a passive player, so I would just kind of play it like once I've finished driving and I get to my next spot, I'll play from like my car to the door of wherever I'm going, and it's really not playing that much. And so I figured, you know what, like while I can't even like I don't if I can't connect to Wi-Fi, I don't have data. You can't play Pokemon Go, so I figured, you know, I'm just gonna take this opportunity to stop because I was barely playing anyway, and like, what's the point? Like, this isn't the kind of grind that I like to play. But anyway, this alludes to the next iteration of a Niantic game, which recently came out on June 21st, I believe, kind of worldwide, or at least UK and US, was Harry Potter Go. Sorry, it's actually called Wizards Unite, but I'm gonna keep calling it Harry Potter Go because it's Harry Potter Go. So I haven't actually played it myself, and I probably won't, but I checked out a video of people playing it, and you know what? It's nice that like off the bat it looks a lot more solid than when Pokemon Go came out. But you know, that's pretty safe to say just because
They've had the time.
Niantic, like they had all the time to learn from Pokemon Go in the meantime while they were developing Harry Potter Go. So it looks like a solid game. The animations look pretty cool. The AR aspect, I don't even know if it really adds that much to it. I mean, I don't know. It's okay, but what I found watching somebody start off playing that game was there was so much reading that like it was such a turnoff for me. I'm like, I need to skip through this video to find like action, and I couldn't. Like I had to skip like further into the video. Like this like the first like 5 to 10 minutes was already just like reading through like these people telling you like, oh, by the way, like you're a wizard, Harry, and this is what you've got to do. And yeah, it's a bit of a turnoff. But I assume that people who get past that enjoy the game, and maybe it's fun.
My biggest issue with VR games is now my biggest issue with AR games as well. And that is that as a consumer, you can't find good footage of it at all. So their marketing materials for any of this stuff is just trailers of live action people going out there and being Harry Potter. And it's like, I get that that's the feeling of the game, but show me the game. But then like, if you were talking honestly with a marketing person, they would tell you, we can't. Like it's almost impossible to just show you the game in a way that would make you understand how it feels to play the game. So we just have to show you a trailer on how it feels to play the game. So,
but don't you think that they could just do like a screen recording and just show you that? Because like Niantic did that with Pokemon Go already. Sorry?
But when you look at a screen recording, sometimes that would look really bad. And people might think it's bad. Like you might look at Pokemon Go and think it's really bad, even if it isn't, is the problem. So from a marketer's perspective, there's like the pros outweigh the cons, right? So Pokemon Go, even when I watched it, right? Like you're comparing that gameplay now to every other Pokemon game you've ever played.
Exactly.
So the gameplay to Pokemon Go, you're sort of like, ooh, this doesn't look very good because there's not much here.
Yeah. But
that's actually not doing enough justice to an AR game because there is actually quite a bit of the experience that is just going out there and playing the game. So from a marketer's perspective, you got to find a good line. And I think Pokemon Go did a pretty good job showing what the game was like. So I knew what I was getting into before playing it. But this Harry Potter one, there's no reason why I would play this because when they don't show you any gameplay, that tells me there's nothing. Like, there's nothing I want to play out of this.
Yeah. You know what, actually, like, more as I scrubbed a little bit further, I couldn't really tell if there was any kind of consequence. You know, like, with Pokemon Go, if you run out of balls or if the Pokemon just happens to run just off of any throw that the ball doesn't catch it, then your consequence is you don't get to catch that Pokemon again.
Right.
I assume there would be similar consequences, like... So, in what I saw, you have to, like, there's different tasks. Like, the first one I saw was he had to release Hagrid from, like, a net. And it was probably just, like, first... It's, like, the lesson. It's kind of like the starter Pokemon of, like, the tasks, right? Like, you'll finish it no matter what. But then the next one I saw was he had to, he had to tap something, and then he had to, trace the diagram, or trace the path of whatever, like, spell he's supposed to cast, and it doesn't seem like if you fail that you won't get to try it again or something like that. Like, it seems like it's just like it'll stay there. I might not have just like watched enough, but it almost seems like there isn't enough consequence. Like, it's just like that was one of my things with Pokemon Go. It's like, this is too easy. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, I felt that with Pokemon Go as well, though. It was a little bit too monotonous. It's like you could almost automate the whole process.
Yeah.
As the gameplay. The Harry Potter thing seems to confuse me too, because I don't know what the overall goal is, but it's so muddled. Like, it seems like there's a lot of different things you're doing. While one of the benefits of Pokemon Go is that there is just mainly the one thing you're doing. It's either a inventory management game, or it was a flipping a ball at a thing game. But the fun thing is that that's all it was too. So at the same time, you didn't have to think too much, and you could still have a nice game that you were kind of going with and collecting.
Yeah.
There obviously you could add more and more and more, but the base solid game there was pretty simple.
Yeah.
But this Harry Potter one, I'm now seeing some gameplay videos that people have put up. Like, that's another stupid thing. It has to be the people that put up these videos. It's not the actual Niantic putting up the videos. It's the people. Yeah. And these videos, it's just like, man, I've seen like so many different things people are doing, but that just looks like they had to make a bunch of stupid mini games for people to play because they didn't really know what the overall point was. They just want to slap Harry Potter over AR.
Yeah.
So, it's confusing to me. I'd have to try it to really know if it's good or bad, but it doesn't look very good from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, it's still in the really early stage. It's only been out for such a short while that, like, at the same time, while it started off as a solid looking game, there's bound to be tons more updates and additions. Right. that will probably add to like the overall core concept of the game, right? And we just
Right.
can't see it right now, especially because we're not even playing it. We're basing it off of whatever we're finding on YouTube. So
Right.
yeah, eventually we'll find more footage from people. It's not going to be from Niantic. It's going to be from more people, but that's okay.
Well, that kind of falls into my topic, actually, for later on, but we'll get into that later in the topic section.
Yeah.
Also, just before we leave, just on the AR thing, I just want to bring up that Minecraft, I saw the Minecon video, and they actually are coming out with an AR game for Minecraft called Minecraft Earth.
Cool.
There's no gameplay footage that I could see of it. It was, again, one of those stupid trailers where it's live action. It shows a girl walking around with her phone and seeing all these Minecraft things in real life. You're like, oh.
And that
But-
means nothing.
I know. It's like, where's the gameplay? What do you do, right? And then the promotional... Like, here, I'll show you this. The promotional shots will be... it'll be like a family just, like, building something together. And you're like, oh, okay. So, like... You're like, oh, okay, that tells me what? So you build. It's like your family, and you're all building stuff together out here in real life, and everyone's got their phone. They're pointing at something that's not actually there. And then, like, you watch the trailer, and the trailer is just nonsense. Like, this doesn't mean anything. None of this means anything. It's a girl skateboarding down a road while Minecraft objects just pop up out of nowhere. But that doesn't actually mean anything.
It really doesn't.
Yeah, so while I am interested for sure, and I think there actually is a really interesting Minecraft game they could make with AR, I don't know if I should get excited or not. So
I get so much more from that splash, like of the people surrounding that one tower.
yeah,
Like a better understanding of the game based on that, like way more than I do from that trailer that you just showed me. Because like,
of course,
like it's like
the
several
one
people,
image,
yeah, like several people with their phones and they're all pointing at the same object. Which
Yeah.
like, okay, obviously that means like we can integrate with each other. Like in Pokemon
Actually,
Go, you
that's a
couldn't
good
really
point.
do that right away, right? But
And
this
actually,
one is like,
in AR, that's almost an interesting thing. If everybody could kind of play God and build like Lego on a table or something, but just with their phones looking at the table and building all the pieces, but
Yeah.
they're all looking at the same structure, that's actually really interesting. That would be very cool if that worked, but I doubt that's what it is, because that would be a lot of coding. Like, that would be way too hard to make that all work.
I think no, it probably is, because even with Pokemon Go, like it was all individualized in the very beginning per se, except for the fact that when you went to a gym, if you put your Pokemon in a gym, everybody else would see your Pokemon in that gym, right?
Right.
So they already
con-
had a bit of that that like multiplayer aspect there. They just didn't really build upon it until like way further down the road.
But everything Pokemon is turn-based. Even the multiplayer elements, even trading, everything is... And I don't mean turn-based in, like, fighting style. I mean turn-based in, like, coding style. Like, everything is one action happening, and then the code gets sent off to the server, and then another action happening, that code gets sent off to the server, and then it sends the information back to the players. But if you're all building something on a table, you need that thing to be stationary. It has to be a thing that's staying in one spot, like we saw in the promotional image there. For it to actually work like that means the server has to know the exact XYZ orientation of the object on the table and the rotation of it, and know that it's staying stable for everyone to be looking at it with their phones and then manipulating that object. So on Pokemon Go, for example, if people are looking at the same Pokemon, which I don't even think you can do, but maybe you can fight a boss and everyone's looking at the Pokemon.
Yep. Yeah, you can.
Right? Okay. I would, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would doubt that when they're all looking at the Pokemon, it is exactly moving with the animations together on everyone's phone. I would assume that it's a little different depending on everyone's phone.
That's interesting. I've never really paid attention, but maybe not.
Like, they would want you to think that it's some giant thing that's there now that everyone's phone you can see, and as it moves its right arm and it's swinging across like a city or something, everyone's watching that right arm go at the same time.
Yeah.
They would want you to think that, but I really doubt that's the case. And in this Minecraft thing, I just think it'd be interesting if there actually was like virtual structures everyone was building together, but in order to do that, you'd have to get a lot closer to that, and I think that's just difficult
Right.
as a coding perspective.
So who's making this mobile game?
It's Microsoft Studios.
Just
So
cool, okay.
I couldn't find Niantic tied to it at all, and that's the thing too, is I don't think with Minecraft there's any benefit to Maps, Google Maps, and that's Niantic's biggest thing, is they have the tie-in with Google Maps, so they've got everything geolocated or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Based on that one game they already did before Pokemon Go, whatever that game was called.
Scrabble
Remember that
Go?
game? No. It doesn't really matter. Anyways,
They had
I don't
another
see
one
why
for this.
Minecraft would need to know... Like, Minecraft wouldn't need any of that. It wouldn't need to worry about the maps. It may worry about biomes or something. I don't know if it wants to do anything like that, but I think Minecraft benefits more from just being a local experience people can play in their living room, but use the AR to people's creative advantage.
Ingress?
Ingress, that's the one. Thank you. Ingress, yes.
Oh, that was a game?
Wasn't it a game? I don't know. Didn't people make choices or something? I honestly don't really know.
Oh, interesting. I guess when I heard the word ingress, I thought that was some sort of some sort of like Unreal Engine kind of code, like an open source thing. Like
no, just because it was totally a game.
Because like the word
it has a huge following.
Okay, that makes sense. It's just like the name itself to me didn't sound like a game. It was like, this sounds like a platform or something.
No, it was why Pokemon Go had all its data. All these Ingress players had 3 different factions, and they all went out and tried to do different things. Very similar to Pokemon Go is the pre-Pokemon Go game. And they would go and find these areas in real life and mark them. And those areas became the factions' hideouts and all that kind of stuff. So when Pokemon Go started, those factions literally just became the factions in Pokemon Go. And the players that were already players in Ingress were able to have player accounts in Pokemon Go and just log into their account or whatever. It was the same account.
Wait, so in Ingress Go, was this the one where I'm just gonna call it Ingress Go?
Ingress Go, yeah.
Was this the one where people could you could travel to like some random place off the highway and there's a cache? And then,
I think so. Yeah, I think that sounds familiar.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Okay, that would make sense because
That's also why when we started playing Pokemon Go, there was already Pokemon centers everywhere. Those were all from Ingress.
Okay, because Pokemon, my uncle, he's playing Pokemon Go, and he was the one that was telling me about oh yeah, you can go to all these places and you go to a cache and you find an item that's just there, and I'm like, what do you mean you find an item? And I thought he meant you physically find something there that somebody randomly placed. I'm like, this doesn't seem ethical.
That's called geocaching. It's a little different.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a little bit of a tangent, but yeah, I think it's just interesting knowledge there. But so Minecraft's doing it too. Who knows what they're going to do? But AR in general, it's just a pretty interesting thing. Some games could work, I guess. Pokemon Go worked better than I thought it was going to. And also worse than I thought it was going to at the same time. It did both for me.
Well, that's because it started off worse than we expected. And then
but
it got
also
better.
Lasted way longer. So it's I can't really fault it. It still was fun.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I played it longer than I thought I would.
Yeah.
In other news, have you been watching Castlevania at all, the anime on Netflix?
No, but I want to. And there's another...
really good.
Isn't there another anime that's on Netflix right now, or maybe coming to Netflix? That's supposed
to... Is it Devil May Cry? Because that's what I was going to talk about.
It wasn't that, but let's talk about that.
Okay. So the Castlevania one treatment has been doing so well, and it's pretty much just let's make this video game into an anime on Netflix and make gamers actually do this.
Yeah.
So that it's not going to be miscalculated or misjudged. And so it's doing very well. It's really good. And if you like Castlevania at all, I definitely encourage you to check that out. But because of that, the next one they're going to work on apparently is Devil May Cry. So they're giving one of the creators the ability to just make their own anime for Netflix for Devil May Cry. So
sorry,
they're going ahead with that.
And are these are North America Netflix originals? Are they produced in English, or are they Japanese with English subs and dubs?
I honestly don't know, but it looks like Japanese style anime. So I would say it's probably Japan first and then English second.
Okay.
But I know that Netflix provides the money and they make them, so I believe it says Netflix original on them, but I don't actually know. I'd have to search it up.
Okay. You know what? Okay, I never played Devil May Cry.
Yeah, I haven't played it much either, but
do you know the concept of it?
A little bit, yeah.
Can you tell me?
Yeah, sorry. I know that you play as Dante. I know Dante's the main guy. He's got the 2 guns.
Yeah,
and he shoots a lot of demons.
Right.
And something about demon slaying, I guess. That's about it. That's what all I know.
Yeah, I think when it came out, I assumed it was some sort of it was a similar game to Resident Evil, but yeah, I guess
no, it's more like God of War. It's a hack and slash.
Oh, I see.
It's a combo driven hack and slash game where you're constantly hitting enemies. You know those games where you hit enemies and they kind of float up in the air as you're hitting them, and you're constantly hitting them a bunch, they float up.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of floating up with them, and then you're chaining combos, but then you switch to another enemy, then switch to another.
Right.
Well, in Devil May Cry, if you do it well enough, you never touch the ground. You're just constantly in the air hitting all these different enemies before you finally drop back down to the ground.
Wow, that must be tiring for Dante.
It's famous for its weird humor as well as crazy cutscenes.
Oh, okay.
People love the characters of Devil May Cry, so I think it would actually do really well as an anime. So I'd be interested in that.
Do you ever find out why the devil cries?
No, but you don't know if it does or not, because it may cry. But you're not sure if it did.
You have to find out if you have to tell a really bad joke, and that'll determine whether it cries or not. Like, that was just so sad. I need to cry. Or like, that was the worst joke ever.
I'm going to segue out of this. I saved the best news for last.
Ooh.
So, I don't know if you've heard this. Crash Bandicoot is getting its own racer. It's getting redone from PlayStation 1. So back in the day, or not back in the day, but like, I don't know, a year ago or so, Crash got its trilogy done for, it's remade for the PlayStation 4. And it was the same code as the PlayStation 1 version of Crash, 1, 2, and 3, but then it was redone with new graphics. And we've talked about it a few times on the show. Well, anyways, it did so well, they're bringing my favorite kart racer game, the one that I think is far superior to Mario Kart, and that is Crash Tag Team Racing. So they're bringing it to the PlayStation 4 as well, and redoing the graphics. They're also apparently... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good. It's all the same code as well. So they're going for the same style from way back when. But they're also going to be adding characters to it, apparently.
Nice.
And it's apparently also on the Switch, so I guess Nintendo's not really mad about it at all.
Would you say that this is more like... Okay, because I found Diddy Kong Racing, like, quite different from Mario Kart Racing. From Mario Kart. And I can't quite pinpoint why, but how would you compare this one to Diddy Kong Racing?
I've never played Diddy Kong Racing, to be honest, but Crash is... like really similar to Mario Kart, but the thing I really liked about Crash is I found it more technical. Mario Kart is by no means easy, but I found Crash Tag Team Racing to get a lot more technical. So items, for example, the items, you would pick up an item and then you can level up an item and then it goes to like level 2 then level 3.
Whoa.
So you can get better versions of your items as they go up. But also you can use your items for the environment sometimes to make them worse or make the environment change. So in Mario Kart, you can kind of do that a little bit. Or like, let's say like a shell bounces off something a perfect way and hits somebody, like that'll work.
Yeah.
But in Crash Tag Team Racing, there's moments where like you can use an item to hit a switch sort of thing. And the switch can change the environment of the level. So there's lots of things like that are really interesting and very well thought out. And you can tell the creators had a lot of fun making it.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. I would be interested.
It is a lot
to
of
try
fun,
that out.
and I'm not even the biggest Crash fan. I just know the characters a little bit, but I used to play this game all the time because the racing was extremely fun, very fun. Oh, and there's boss races too, so you have to go through all these different levels, but then you do a boss race. And that was the most fun. So it's just you and the boss racing on the whole track and going through the whole thing, and that was just so good.
Yeah, so that's the one thing that I can think of similar to Diddy Kong Racing, which was different from Mario Kart, was, in Diddy Kong Racing, in each of the worlds or whatever it was, you had to race against a boss who wasn't actually in like a cart like you or anything like that. Like in Diddy Kong Racing, you could be in a go-kart or a plane or like a mini hovercraft or something like that. And so each of the bosses were based on like the environment you were in. So when you were in your hovercraft or like jet ski or whatever it was, like you would race against, I think like an octopus or something. And then when you were flying, so the boss of like the whole game was like this weird, mysterious giant pig wizard thing. So when you were like the very last boss, when you race against him, you're flying maybe. And when you're I can't remember now. When you're racing in the cart, maybe you're like racing against some sort of dinosaur that turns into a ball and rolls. I could be totally off, but anyway, that was like the main difference that I could see from Diddy Kong Racing and Mario Kart. So it's cool. Yeah, like I think that adds that helps with people who are more like single player players, right? Because Mario Kart, like, that's definitely grown into like that's like the multiplayer racing game per se, like party game. Whereas,
I would say so. It's the most general one that everyone seems to know about and can pick up and play really easily.
Yeah, but then having the bosses in something like Crash and Diddy Kong Racing, that opens up more opportunities for single player players. Players
for sure.
To play.
I don't know many people that play Mario Kart on its own, like just play Mario Kart without friends.
Yeah.
It's usually playing it just to play with friends, right? And and there's no real story to Mario Kart. While there's story to Crash Tag Team Racing and there's story to maybe the Diddy Kong one, I'm not sure.
I think a little bit, yeah.
I'm going to shift topics, and by that I mean I'm not going to shift topics. I'm actually going to stay on topic, but I'm going to shift my topic to be this. Because for one, we're going a little bit over time for what I thought.
Okay.
But for two, I've got enough to say about racing games anyways that I want to kind of continue this topic.
Okay.
So I want to keep talking about this.
Sure.
But also let's add in a few other racers. So let's actually just compare racers to Mario Kart and the major differences in them. And what we like about the other ones maybe in Mario Kart, and we can also what we like about Mario Kart. I just like this topic, so I think we should stay here.
Cool.
What were you going to say?
Just a simple thing like the Crash. So this one is called Crash Team Racing, right? The Nintendo Switch one, Nitro Fueled or something.
It used to be called Crash Tag Team Racing, but this is just Crash Team Racing. You're right.
Okay, I was gonna ask if it was called Crash
CTR.
Test Racing, but I guess I might have been mixing it up with the old Crash Test Dummies TV show. Did you ever watch that?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I love that show. I was so disappointed. There were only like 4 episodes that ever aired on Saturday mornings in Canada, or at least where I was. But I really like that show. Anyway, sorry, segue.
No, it's all good. So I actually used to play a lot of kart races before playing Mario Kart. And the biggest one I used to play all the time, and I haven't seen footage of this in a long time, is Lego Racers. Did you ever play that one?
No, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah,
I didn't really get into Lego games, so. Yeah,
okay. I think it was popular. I think there's quite a few people that played it. It was on N64 and PlayStation 1.
Okay.
Probably PC as well, actually. And you could build your own Lego kart in it, and that's what I like the most.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, customizable.
People back in the day, that was like obviously pre-Minecraft and pre a lot of like more customizable games like that. So being able to make your own kart was really interesting.
Yeah.
And it was a typical kart racing game. I'm just gonna share a little bit of footage while I do it. But I actually think I mixed up my Crash knowledge, and this was the game that had items that leveled up as you played, and I really like this concept. So in this one, you picked up a colored block. So he has blue as his block, and you just use that item.
Yeah.
But if you get a blue item, it's a specific item. It'd be like a shield type item, and then you pick up a power up. Then your blue shield type item gets better, and you level up your blue shield type item as you go. So it's really interesting. So you get a green one as a speed boost, but if he levels up his green one, he gets a major speed boost. And in Lego fashion, like each one that's leveled up, it does like a new Lego build for how it goes. So I don't know. It was really, really awesome, and I loved that idea because it was like you could use your power up right now, or you could try to save it and have a much better power up as you go. So it added a whole new tactic to the racing style.
Yeah, because that really depends on your timing. Like you really want to be strategic of like, do I use the item now or later? Whereas something like in Mario Kart, I mean, a lot of the items can be pretty much used at that moment.
Yeah.
At least, well, I mean, like I'm not a pro player by any means, but when I have played it, it seemed like most of the time, you can have one item set up already. So say you've got like your 3 green shields that are just floating around, but like they're in use. You've used them right away. And then at the same time, like while that's going, then you can like prep your next item to go. So that's a cool layer for a racing game.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one. And the other one I played all the time was Hot Wheels Turbo Racing on PlayStation 1. And it's a Hot Wheels game, but it's technically the same as a kart racer, right? So you're racing like micro tracks, and you have items as well available to you to give you speed boosts. And I believe there's rockets that you shoot at each other as well. And you're trying to kind of knock each other off the tracks. But this one to me was also like an amazing racing game that I thought was really well done. But the major thing is that I didn't have Mario Kart because I didn't have a Nintendo 64 or anything like that. I never had a Nintendo console. So I always had to play all these other kind of knockoff kart version games, right? Like, so I was always playing these kinds of things. And I love Mario Kart, but I also I get really excited about these other kart racers. So now when I see the Crash one, I don't know. I get really excited about it. I think there's something really cool about a new Crash game.
You know what? I never really took Crash Bandicoot for being such. And I was going to say an underrated character, but he's definitely not. He's like a really popular character, apparently.
Yeah, no, I mean, I got to be honest. I didn't think he was that popular either, but there's a lot of people that really liked him. Like, he was the big PlayStation mascot for a long time there.
Oh, I guess that's why, yeah. But specifically for having, like, that one pivotal character, or one, like, that face. Because, like, Sega had Sonic, Nintendo had Mario.
Crash had attitude, kind of like how Sonic had attitude. Like, Crash, like, made fun of Nintendo in that one commercial.
Oh, did he? You know, for a while,
when PlayStation was launching. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, so for a while, because like I never played, I didn't own a PlayStation. So whenever I did play it, I would play it at Toys R Us, like another one of those demo things. And they always had Vector Man or Vector or whatever.
Oh, yeah, Vector
Man,
yeah.
Yeah, and so like whenever I thought of PlayStation, I thought of Vector Man. I'm like, oh, he must be like the face of PlayStation. Like that's what PlayStation is about. It's about these
Vector Man's
weird...
Genesis, though, isn't he? Yeah, he's Sega Genesis.
Vector was Sega Genesis? Oh, right. Never mind. Sorry, I played that on like Sega CD? Or maybe they just had a Sega or like a 32X or something like that.
You know what man was PlayStation though and should be the mascot to PlayStation? I'm going to show you a photo.
I'm trying to think back of who I thought of PlayStation, and it was like... Who's
this
that?
guy.
Is that the Tick? What is that?
No.
Pepsi Man? Why?
Pepsi Man! This guy should be the logo to PlayStation. He was a Japanese game called Pepsi Man, and it was literally just a Pepsi product advertisement game, but it's hilarious and it's amazing.
And was that supposed to be like... Oh no, Pepsi and 7-Up are in the same brand.
Oh,
right?
that was the spot or cool spot or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Pepsi Man is really popular at speedrunning challenges. So people talk about Pepsi Man all the time, but it's just hilarious. It's a stupid advertisement game where you just play as this Pepsi Man. It's like a speedrunner. But anyways, it's gotten really popular and people are starting to enjoy it more and more and more.
Whoa, this is like parkour.
Yeah, it's parkour the game. He plays Pepsi Man. It's kind of like a racing game, kind of
Cool.
racing.
I think, you know what, now that I think about it, maybe the face of PlayStation for me...
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look up some old games, but like I can kind of picture something like it might have been Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah, Lara Croft. She was also for a while there the icon. They couldn't really find one. When it started though, it was definitely Crash. And the very first trailer for PlayStation showed a guy dressed up as a Crash mascot with like an air horn, and he'd be yelling at everyone to play PlayStation games.
Yeah.
And he had a big van, and in his van he had all these PlayStation games for people to play, and he had all these like TVs and stuff. But then the joke was he went to Nintendo's headquarters, and went to this big Nintendo building, and they filmed the commercial there. And he's got the microphone. He's yelling at Nintendo, and he says like, "Hey, plumber boy," and stuff like that. He's like making fun of him. Like, it was really well done, and people really enjoyed it. But unfortunately, it kind of inculcated this like PlayStation behavior where they're like, "We're better than everyone else." But whatever, it was fun.
Interesting. I want to look up to see what some of the like one of the first games ever from
We're never ever
released. Do you know that song?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, were you singing the T-Swizzle song?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know the lyrics, so that's about all I knew.
Well, yeah, because like, you and I never really talk about like music pop culture as much, so I'm like, I've never.
I don't know any music pop culture.
That's why I was like, oh, hey,
So
he knows that song. Okay, this can't be right. What? 1995? What? When did the PlayStation come out? Doom. Lemmings. Oh, Lemmings.
Yeah, but they were really confused. Like, Sony did not know who to make the face of their things. Like, Crash became the face for a while there, so was Spyro for a little bit. Lara Croft was for a bit. This is like, I'm talking about PlayStation 1 only, but yeah, that was like all, they kind of threw it around. Parappa, I believe. Parappa the Rapper was the mascot for a while there.
Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, they've been a little bit confused on what to do with their icons and stuff, but Crash is doing well. Good on him.
Yeah, that's
He's coming
cool.
back, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get an original Crash game fairly soon. In fact, for all I know, they've already announced one. I don't really know.
Yeah, have they? I don't know if they have.
But I could see them bringing it all back and trying to make a whole new Crash experience that everyone's like, ah! And then same with Spyro, because they did the Spyro trilogy.
Yeah.
They gave it the Crash format, and that did well as well. So
yeah.
Good on them for that.
I wouldn't doubt it, but at the same time, I feel like if because they recently brought him back, or they announced him for Smash Bros, and they're also doing this racing game. I feel like it'd be quite a bit if they wanted to all of a sudden like bring the, like, I guess they could announce it, but if they release it around the same time, it'd be so awkward because then they'd have Crash Bandicoot, the remake, competing with Crash Racing. Like they'd probably want to spread it out, sort of, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. Did you turn off the lights?
What's up?
What?
What'd you say?
Because I was looking at some on my browser, and when I go back to you, it's like all dark now.
Oh. Yeah. No, the sun has gone. The sun has gone.
I got my friend's reference, although I mean it's not like that great.
Go for it. Do it. Go ahead.
Just singing "The Sun" reminded me of like "The sun will come out tomorrow," and then like Chandler when he's like,
bet.
"Yeah, bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun."
Sun.
That's all. Yeah. It takes the littlest thing to remind me of friends, no matter what.
I like that scene. I remember that scene.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to do a very special thing on this episode, and it is called The Wheel of Scum!
Scum.
Anth0z, kid music.
Click.
On today's version of the Wheel of Scum, we've got our very first item, which is Pirate Adventure. Our second item is Shakespeare in a VR. Third item is Crossover. And fourth item is A Haunting Tale of Whoa. Fifth item is Who Wants to Be Scum Millionaire. And final item on the list is Swashbuckler. Buckle up, buckaroo. So, Anth0z, without further ado, would you please spin the wheel?
Without further ado. Sorry. Okay, and click.
Click. It's spinning. I put it on a really quick spin, so it's probably going to spin really fast. Here we go. It's landing on A Haunting Tale, possibly? Oh, Who Wants to Be Scum Millionaire? Wow, we haven't had this one in a long time.
Quite a while, yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I have to ask you. Okay, so
I mean, you don't have to ask
Who Wants to Be Scum Millionaire? Answer me these questions 3 and receive the glee of the daughter of G in the ball this knee. What? Did you edit this?
Wait, can you read it again?
It says, Who Wants to Be Scum Millionaire? Answer me these questions 3 and receive the glee of the daughter of G in the ball this knee.
I don't think that was me.
I think that was me. But I read it the first time and had no idea what I was saying. Now I get it. It used to be called Impress the Governor's Daughter.
Oh, yeah,
so now
that's
it
right,
says,
yeah.
Answer me these questions 3 and receive the glee of the daughter of G, which would be the governor.
The governor, yeah.
In the ball, meaning the ballroom, this knee. And I think knee I just meant for night, but it rhymes with the glee. So. I don't think I've ever said that out loud. Oh my god.
Well, I'm glad you finally did it.
Okay, so Impress the Governor's Daughter got retitled to Who Wants to Be Scum Millionaire? Anyways, here's my first question for you. Tell me if you've heard this or not, because I don't know if we've gone through these ones,
Okay.
but I don't think we have. Question number 1 for you, Anth0z. Patrick Stewart has said that turning down this Disney character is the greatest regret of his film career. Is it A, Jafar? Is it B, Hades? Is it C, Scar? Or is it D, Captain Hook?
Oh.
Now, I have to pull up the answers because I did this so long ago, I don't even know what it is.
Oh, wow. Those
Patrick
are
Stewart.
such great choices, too.
Oh, yeah, and I only got the answers, so I had to make up the answers for these. So, like, when I would see it, I would see the answer, and I just had to make up the other ones.
Yeah.
Just so as you know.
Oh, boy. The greatest mistake of his entire career?
The greatest regret of his film career.
Wow, that's huge.
Jafar, Hades, Scar, or Captain Hook?
If he turned down something, I'm gonna go with. Oh man, Captain Hook.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, it is.
You're wrong. That was it's actually A, Jafar.
Oh, he was my least. Like he was my lowest guess.
Oh,
Wow.
well, he thought about it. He was considering it and did not take it. And it's the biggest regret of his film career.
I wonder why.
Yeah. We're talking like the old Aladdin, not the new one, obviously.
No, yeah, yeah. I just because I was trying to think of what kind of benefit could there have been for the rest of your future from doing either one of those, and I feel like there would have been so much more from doing Captain Hook for some reason, but
Aladdin was really popular with like Genie and all that, and I think people didn't really realize it at the time. Like it was kind of like when it was coming out, people were like, what is this? Like especially if you're an actor, look at the script, you're like, what is this?
yeah.
Like I don't really know anybody in it. Oh, Robin Williams is apparently in it. Okay, but is it gonna do well? I have no idea.
Huh.
And then it like came out and everyone loved it, and it like skyrocketed in fame. So
Right. Okay. Cool.
who knows? Okay, the next question is, which 90s movie featured the Looney Tunes on its soundtrack? Is it A, the Roger Rabbit? I mean Roger Rabbit.
Oh, Roger Rabbit.
Is it B, Space Jam? Is it C, the DuckTales movie? Or is it D, the Page Master?
I would
Which 90s movie featured the Looney Tunes on its soundtrack?
I'm gonna go with Space Jam. But wait, okay, we say them all again, just one more time.
Roger's Rabbit.
Okay.
I mean Roger Rabbit.
You just don't want to say that title correctly.
Space Jam.
And that's Who Framed
the
Roger Rabbit, right?
It is Who Framed Roger
Okay.
Rabbit. You're right.
Yeah.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? The Space Jam. I can't say it. C, the DuckTales movie, or D, the Page Master.
Okay, Space Jam.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You are correct,
Yes.
sir. And why?
Because they were actually in the movie.
Good one. Good one.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Question number 3. Are you ready? Which Pokemon has the index number 004?
Charmander.
Is it A? You're correct, sir. Good job. That one did not even need a multiple choice. I commend you for that. Good job,
Thank
sir.
you.
You've redeemed yourself.
Yes.
Which Disney movie soundtrack featured Mel Gibson?
Oh,
Toy
what?
Story 2, Aladdin, Pocahontas, or Tarzan?
No way.
Which Disney's movie soundtrack featured Mel Gibson? Toy Story 2, Aladdin, Pocahontas, or Tarzan?
Holy.
I'm glad this one stumped you. Stumped me, so.
That's just like such an interesting thing to, like, I would never picture Mel Gibson featured in any.
I know.
Like,
It's funny, if you ask my girlfriend this, though, she would know this one immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, all the options one more time?
Toy Story 2, Aladdin, Pocahontas, or Tarzan? The real question is, which Disney movie was Mel Gibson in?
I know. Like, I can't. What the? I'm gonna go with. Sorry, what's the last option?
Tarzan.
Tarzan. I'm torn between Tarzan 2 and Toy Story. It's a lot of alliteration there.
I don't want to wait for our lives to be
Okay,
over.
I'm just gonna go with Toy Story 2.
Okay, you're going to go with Toy Story 2?
Yes.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You are incorrect, sir. It was Pocahontas. I believe he
Really?
plays John Smith or whatever the guy's name is in that.
He was the voice of John Smith?
I think so. I don't know. I think he's the lead in that, yeah.
What?
But that is the answer.
Oh, I didn't.
Yes.
Oh, man. Oh.
Now you know. Now you know.
And if you
Okay,
don't
and the last
know-
question on Scum Millionaire. Which Smash Bros. Character has this moveset? I think you're going to get this. This is the moveset. Peanut, Pop Gun, Rocket Barrel, Boost, and Banana Peel.
Diddy Kong.
Is it A...
Oh, sorry. Say the
You're
options.
correct, sir. Good job. There you go. You can feel better about yourself
Thank
now.
you. As soon as it said
Yeah.
Peanut Gun, I'm like, okay, that's Diddy Kong.
Okay. Well, some people wouldn't know that. Peanut Pop Gun. Yeah, I
Peanut
guess
Pop
you got
Gun,
it.
yeah.
Good job. I guess I put Donkey Kong, Ganon, Diddy Kong, and Ness.
Nice. Well, you know, I
The
feel
only-
like Ness would have been a good, like, if
Yeah,
somebody
Ness
didn't
is the only
know,
one that makes sense.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what
Okay, good
were
job,
your
sir.
other options for the Pokemon one?
Oh, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, or Pikachu.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
If it wasn't you or someone like you, they may have been thrown out.
Yeah.
But like honestly, for me, I think I would have said Squirtle.
Okay.
Like if I just thought about it in my head, like I think I would have said Squirtle. So.
Right. Squirtle
'Cause
7.
one is Bulbasaur, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would have said Squirtle. I think.
Yeah. Then after.
Okay, good job, sir.
Thank you.
That was Who Wants to Be a Scum Millionaire?
Woo! Wait, so I got 3 out of
Woo.
5? Does that mean
You
I
got 3 out of 5.
feel like that's like the first time I've actually gone positive with
Yeah,
this.
I think so. Actually, maybe you're getting better.
Wow, slowly but surely. After almost 30 episodes, we're almost there.
Anth0z, topic number 2, I bestow onto you.
Ooh, and that rhymed.
I did.
Right. So my topic, okay, I'll be honest. I haven't actually thought it through that much, but I kind of figured it would just be like similar to what we did a couple weeks back, where we did have a couple topics in mind. It was really just about like what like letting the creative juices flow.
Good. I like that.
So I mean, this will be a mixture of that, or could it be? Maybe not. It's really just like recalling movies, but my topic is about like some of like the best underrated movies that you can think of, or maybe like what was probably underrated, because I don't actually know a lot of like stats.
I like this
for movies, but like I can think of just movies that I liked that maybe people like nobody else had ever heard of, and I think I explained to you one of them, and one was The Replacements.
So, you did talk about that one,
yeah.
Yes. And like I've never heard of it before.
Right. So The Replacements, featuring yours truly, Keanu Reeves.
Oh, you're right. You know what? I've actually seen the movie once with my brother.
Oh, okay.
A long time ago.
Do you remember it at all?
Not really. I just remember Keanu Reeves starring in it.
Okay. Yeah, Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman, Jon Favreau. That was the first time I ever saw Jon Favreau.
Wow. Not Friends?
No, it was in Replacements. Yeah,
oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure I saw him in Replacements before Friends, because I wasn't watching Friends from the moment they were released. And sorry, who?
Roy from The Office.
Yes, yeah, that's right, Roy. Yeah, Roy's in it too. Yeah. And there's probably some other people. The guy who's the soccer player, I feel like I've seen him in other stuff too. Oh, he was in the Hugh Grant and Notting Hill? The movie with Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts, where Julia Roberts is like some famous actress, and then she stumbles upon like Hugh Grant's home bookstore, and then like finds him at home, and she's like chased by the paparazzi and ends up staying over the night at his place. And his
Isn't
room,
that Notting Hill?
I think it. Yeah, Notting Hill.
I think that's Notting Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, and Hugh Grant's roommate is like this like weird, he seemingly perverted like British guy who like walks around in his underwear.
Yeah. Rrs Feed.
Yes. So anyway,
he is Spider-Man 2. He plays Amazing Spider-Man. He plays the lizard. He's the doctor.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So anyway, he plays the soccer player in the Replacements. So he's basically he's just the guy who takes the kicks. Okay. Goes for the conversion and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So that movie, like, I don't know a lot of people that watched it or know of it, but I really liked that movie. It was just a cool mishmash of just like, it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. You get like a whole bunch of a-holes, put them together, and see what you make of it, because it's like it's such a cool, diverse set of people. Like you've got.
Well, that might be why I get this movie mixed up with the prison football movie.
Oh, The Longest Yard?
Longest Yard, because it has a similar tone to it, where it's like people that don't really care, but they use their aggression to then become good at the sport or something. Right. So I think I know this movie Replacements because my brother really liked it, but at the same time I liked that Longest Yard one, so I think they both seem very similar to me. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Interesting.
Anyway, yeah, Replacements was one of the first ones that came to mind. I'm sure I'll probably think of some more, but in the meantime, do you know? Can you think of any off the top of your head?
Well, I don't know if it's like, I've always felt like it doesn't get enough just desserts for how good it is. But I really, really like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I think that's like one of the best animated films. Yeah. I talk about it all the time, but I love that movie. It's a really funny animated film, and there's a lot going on in it that I don't think people realize, or maybe I'm crazy and everyone else is normal. I don't know. But when I watch that movie, there is, like, every scene has something going on that makes me laugh so hard. And sometimes it's stuff in the background, or sometimes it's just an expression on a person's face, or just the idea of what's going on. But everything's like symbolic, everything has an analogy, everything is funny, it's adult humor, it's kid humor, it's editing, it's everything about it is just funny, and it makes me laugh every single time. So Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, though, has not been hugely successful. It did have a sequel, but I didn't like the sequel very much. But I don't hear people talking about it as much, like the way I talk about it. So I always find that really weird to me. But maybe it resonated with me in a way that it doesn't with other people, I guess.
That wasn't Pixar, was it?
No, it was Blue Sky, I think.
Interesting. I wonder if that's why. Because yeah, you know what? Like
Or Sony Entertainment, maybe. I don't know if it's the same thing, but yeah.
I feel like that one kind of flew under the radar because like I feel like people did watch it, but then it was probably overshadowed by some other like Pixar movie that came out at the time as well. Or like,
but the funniest thing ever, maybe what's also sad is that like I thought it was really well done and well written and everything about it, and then the guys who made it, who also made Clone High, the TV show back in the day, they're just really funny guys and they write like everything together. It's Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. They went on and wrote the Lego Movie. The very next thing they did was the Lego Movie, and that was incredibly popular and everyone loved it.
That was huge.
But when I watched the Lego Movie, I loved it, of course. I thought it was really, really good. But all I could think about was how much it was just like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. It was their same humor. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, people don't even realize they've already done this. Like, they should have got all that praise with Cloudy, but instead they got it with this. And then from there, they also did 21 Jump Street, which was really popular as well, and also really funny. And then they've gone on and done that the End of the World one. What's it called? Last Man on Earth? And they did Last Man on Earth as well. And,
which one's that one?
It's a television show.
Oh, okay.
But it's also been very popular and also very funny. So it's just strange. These guys are really good, and people do talk about them every now and then. And they got really popular because they were going to do the Han Solo movie, but then they ended up getting fired from Disney, so they never got to finish the Han Solo movie, and it got finished by Ron Howard. But they're really, really talented, and I think it all started for me with Cloudy with Chance of Meatballs, and I really wish people watched it more often or talked about it because it's got some great jokes that I quote like daily. So
yeah. I think like I'm trying to think back, but like I'm sure that I did watch it. Did I watch it in theaters?
Yeah, I did. I got dragged to it. I didn't want to see it, and I thought it looked really dumb. And then I saw it in theaters, and like I was blown away. I bought it immediately when it came out on Blu-ray, and like would show it to people and be like, "You have to watch this movie," and we would just watch it and and make people watch that movie.
I feel like I probably did watch it in theaters, but then I probably forgot about it just because of like whatever was happening at the time. But I do remember going to watch one of those like outdoor theaters, and it was playing, and I remember watching it that time. I'm like, wow, this is a great movie. Like I really liked it then. So I don't know what changed in the meantime, but I feel like it was probably timing with whatever kind of movie came out at the same time as well.
Do you have another underrated film that you feel is very underrated?
It's hard to okay, and again, like, but part of my topic is like, or what was probably considered underrated because like, again, like I don't really know stats. But one movie that I really liked was Waterworld.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's okay. That totally makes sense for the underrated category, only because you hear so much flack about that movie.
Oh, do you?
People
okay.
always talk. People talk about either how bad it is or about how much of a production flop it was because they spent so much money on that movie, but way too much, and then it didn't make its returns back, and it was like the first major flop in film history, like major flop. It lost so much money.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's funny that you enjoyed it though, because there's probably a lot to like about it. It's a very unique story, so.
It's super unique, but I think it wasn't even necessarily like the concept of the story that what got me. I think it was actually just like, it was probably Kevin Costner's like his character, because he was kind of like a no care attitude character, and I never really got into those movies because like I always liked the movie where like somebody like Captain America, where like he's a good person and he wants to do good things, and that, and he goes out of his way to do these good things. But he was kind of like, he was sort of like that mysterious character where like he'll do good things, but like he didn't seem like he was like willing to commit to it, because he's kind of just like, it's all about self-preservation. But then like in the back of his mind, you can see there's something in there that like he's considering something. He's showing that there is something important out there, but he's just not like he's showing some hesitation. And so I enjoyed watching him in those moments where he's like deciding, like, okay, well, I should help what is it, like a girl and his mom, I think. Not his mom, sorry, a girl and her mom. Like they were just like lost or whatever, or they were like running away from other like pirates or something. And I think it's been a while since I've seen it, but I think I remember the scene where like I think she tried to they got on the boat, and I think she tried to like hijack the boat from him and like kind of like take it from him, but he's just like, he's almost like master of the seas. Like there's nothing you could do against him. And he was kind of like like, yeah, like whatever, like nice try, and just kind of and then just like let that be. And I don't know, like I really enjoyed watching it. It was, for me, it was just cool to see this character who was like, okay, he's kind of like he's like not really a badass. He's just like a guy that sticks to himself and happened to stumble upon these people in need and didn't seem like he was willing to do it. But over time you see like, okay, yeah, there's more to it than just like me being on my raft and just like trying to survive. Like there are these other people that like, they just need help, and he just grows
like
into
the reluctant hero, like not kind of like realizes his thing over the course of the story arc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Instead of saying like my last one, I would say Starship Troopers, but instead of going into it, I would say one thing that I've really enjoyed maybe about underrated movies and where we are now is people now get to make these cult classic movies into compilations on YouTube and make these great clips about why movies were underrated and how we should appreciate them more. And you can see almost like video essays, I guess, on people talking about why this movie is so good. And you see these all over the place on YouTube. They're everywhere. And I'll sit and watch the things. And sometimes I agree and sometimes I disagree. But I love watching those because sometimes you find hidden gems that way. And like for Starship Troopers, like many people have done different reviews on it. PewDiePie does a really good one, though. And it talks about all the things that you may have missed or people may have thought about that movie and why it was awful.
Yeah.
And why they never wanted to see it. And then he really lays it down in the video of why it's actually so entertaining and such a good movie. And what people probably thought, but what it actually was, kind of thing.
Okay.
It's really interesting. So there's a lot of that. And other people talking about things like Pirates of the Caribbean, the very first one, and why it's so good and why the other ones are not so good.
Yeah.
And like what it is about Pirates of the Caribbean that we all loved, the very first movie at least. And it's so interesting when you watch these and you go like, oh my gosh, like there's a lot going on in the background. So I like the time we live in where these underrated films can actually be really it can be enjoyed in the right way. You can actually have somebody point you in the right direction before you even watch it too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of feel like some of the movies that I would consider good are also kind of based on my influences of other friends. So like if they were like, oh, this movie is so good, but like nobody else has ever told me that. Like I feel like I'm just because I trust the opinion of my friend and like he's close to me, that by association I like this movie. So for one, like I'd probably have to rethink it, but one would be Small Soldiers. I think.
Oh, I love that movie.
Right?
That
yeah. So it was a really fun movie to watch. Like it was
all about that.
Cool concept. Like I think when I first watched it, I was a little bit. I might have been turned off as a kid just because like, I really like my toys, and so maybe I was like picturing like whoever the sergeant is, like the main commando. Are they the commandos? Is that what they are?
I think they are the commandos. Yeah, the Argonauts versus the commandos.
Yeah, Argonauts and commandos. So like, it's weird because it's like monsters versus humans, even though they're toys, and like you would normally think that like, okay, so the humans are the ones that have to defeat the monsters, but this is like the other way around. It kind of just
the
like
monsters are fighting the humans,
right? And like the monsters are like they're like the misunderstood creatures who are just trying to like be at peace, but it's the commandos that are the ones that are trying to like. It's almost like they're just trying to create war. Like it doesn't have to be there, but they want it to be there.
Right.
And I think as a kid, I didn't like it because I didn't like the thought of like my toys, like personifying my toys and them being so evil and so bad that they would become like that guy. But then when I actually looked back, it was really cool to see that concept come to life. Okay, I just thought of a couple. That reminds me, like toy come to life. Did you ever watch The Indian in the Cupboard?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I remember that one.
As a kid, I love that movie, and I think because I bought the VHS, it was like a collector's edition where it came with a little cupboard, and it came with a key that you had to actually like you used to open it. And
I remember seeing an advertisement for that, so like it showed that you would get that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So Indian in the Cupboard, and then around that time, Man of the House with Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Chevy Chase and Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah.
Something about that movie just like, it got me. You know what? I've talked to you about this before, but when they have those movies where it's like the male figures, like the father and the son, and they don't have like a strong relationship, but somehow like the movie shows the development of them, and like that's what would get me like emotionally. So I think maybe like my first instance as a kid that I can remember where I really enjoyed seeing the connection grow between a father figure and a son was from Man of the House with Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Chevy Chase. Did you watch that movie?
I saw it a long time ago. I remember like glimpses of it, but I don't remember the whole thing. I think we talked about this last time, but yeah, I remember little scenes, but not the whole movie.
So the premise of this movie is that Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Farrah Fawcett, his father, I think, left him, and he never came back. So like, I think Jonathan thought his dad would be coming back, but just up and left. And so it was just him and his mom for however many years, because he was really young and he became a teenager by the time his mom met Chevy Chase. But in the meantime, because he had grown so protective, grown so attached to his mom, he was really protective. And like any person that she tried to date, he would just automatically hate and try to like get rid of. But Chevy Chase was like the most persistent. And it was almost like, it was kind of like an old time How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Because Jonathan Taylor Thomas was the one trying to get rid of this guy, but Chevy Chase was trying to like go over and above to like I think he just assumed like he was being tested, but he's just like, no, like I'm going to persevere just because like I want to.
Right.
It wasn't like he wanted to stick it to the kid, but it was just that was the relationship.
Which is funny because that sounds really similar to your other favorite father-son film, the Goofy movie.
Oh,
sounds very similar to the storyline there.
I guess so.
So you've got some kind of connection with that.
Yeah, I mean, like the fathers and sons, like that really gets me. Which is going to be completely different from the last movie I'll mention. But I just want to talk about Man of the House a little bit more. What I really enjoyed about it was, you know what? Actually, I just realized this movie is like multiple fathers and multiple sons, because what Jonathan does, and this is where the connection with like the 10 Things I Hate About You is, he purposely signs up himself and Chevy Chase for this like a scouts course or like a club for fathers and sons to like learn more about Indians. And so it's almost like that's such a weird thing to do, and he thought that this was gonna this was gonna just completely throw Chevy Chase like out, like I can't do this is just so weird. But in the end, Jonathan Taylor Thomas really enjoyed like all the things he was actually picking up from these things, and like he was making new friends. He was even enjoying like the camaraderie of like the other dads too, and eventually like him and Chevy Chase, like they became close through, like it was like that unwilling close relationship that evolved out of these courses, or out of like the club. And then eventually then you see like Chevy Chase finally lets him down because he wasn't able to make it to this one like a camp, like a weekend away, but didn't realize that it was because there was like a mob that was after him and tried to kill him, and it was like this whole misunderstanding. Anyway, that was such a great movie. The last movie I want to mention. Would you have any more before I mention mine?
I can't think. No, I was trying to think of another one, but I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. I'm sure it'll come to me later, but
okay,
I can't think of anything right now. Yeah.
The last one I want to mention, you reminded me when you said Starship Troopers, is Galaxy Quest with Tim Allen.
Oh yes, that's a really good one.
That was an amazing movie for something that I'm sure was an underrated movie. I think.
Wow.
I think it was an underrated movie.
Galaxy Quest is so good, so good.
Yeah.
And like I hope it holds up. The thing is, I haven't watched it in years, but I hope it holds up because that one is so much fun to watch. And I watched it as a kid and laughed at all like the typical stupid things I would laugh at. But I remember watching it later on and getting more of the jokes and like understanding Tim Allen more and understanding Alan Rickman more. And like he was so much more funny this time around watching it. I was like, oh my God, he's so sarcastic. But even that was probably at like a middle point of my life now. So I would like to see it again now and see what I think. That's really interesting.
Yeah. And it's odd because like the acting for the aliens, they were like it was so cheesy. Like it's not like anything like I don't know, like Gamora is an alien, right? But she's like a pretty serious character. So she doesn't do anything that's like too kooky or too wacky. But these aliens, they're just like, they're straight up cartoons pulled out. Like that's literally like how they all are, right? And they're these weird like you can't tell in the beginning, but like later on you find out that they're just like these weird piles of like purple tentacle goop things that are disguised as humans. Like they just took that form because they went on Earth.
Right.
And oh man, I'm thinking. I remember like when the leader of the aliens. Like the way they talk is like, you have to save us, and like that voice, right? But
and they like show no emotion.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, but even like when he starts realizing, like Tim Allen's trying to tell him like, no, like what I do, it's a TV show, it's an act. I'm not actually like a space captain. I don't actually know how to like destroy people in war and stuff like that, or in space. And then like the aliens are so let down, and even though it's like really cartoony, you can feel, you can sense there's actually so much pain in his voice, the way that he's expressing it, and it's just like, wow, this is like they're really like they commit to their characters so well. This like this goofy character that it actually makes sense, like what they're doing. And anyways, I had a great time watching Galaxy Quest. I remember I showed my fiance; she had never seen it, and she's like, "That was actually a really good movie." I'm like, "I know, right? It's good."
I miss it. I forgot all about it and that it even existed, and I miss it.
Yeah, that's.
I want to watch this now.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great pick. That's a perfect pick.
Thank you. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's. Oh, do you want to end the topic there, or because I don't want to top that. I don't think I can top that.
Let's end it there. Yeah.
Oh, I just had the trailer on the background while you were talking. It was perfect. I loved it. So good.
Ending it with GQ Galaxy Quest.
Great. Anth0z. That was our episode 26? 27? 27. Wow.
I think,
Holy
right?
smokes. I believe so.
Let me check my uploads.
Yeah, that was 27.
Ooh.
Wow. Oh my gosh. How do you feel? You feel good?
Yeah. I feel
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel
great. Anth0z, where is the Eiffel Tower?
If you want to find me, you can find me online on Twitter at Anth0z1.
Oh, and
no,
if you'd like to find me, you can find me at Twitter at Mattbrush Gaming, and you can also find us on YouTube at Mattbrush Gaming as well. We put this podcast in video format for you on YouTube, but if you want to check us out in podcast form, the original intended form, then that is on all of your podcasting platforms, so please go over there. If you'd like to leave us a comment or anything, that would be much appreciated. But if you have any questions for Anth0z and I, you can get us at the Scumm Bar Podcast at gmail.com. Please, and please leave us a like or a review or a star rating or anything, just so we know you're out there and what you think of each episode. We appreciate you guys so much, and as we always say here on this podcast, Anth0z, what do we say? Let the people know.
Never give up. Never surrender.